Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome, my gorgeous Pisces. Interesting. I put a post out yesterday just asking if there were any signs that needed some special attention. And wow, I got a lot. Um, so what I did is I broke it down by, what sign was reaching out the most, and it was definitely your sign, Pisces. I feel like followed by Scorpio. There may be something within the cups this month. Um, I remember a bit of your reading I did for June, and of course, it had its up and downs, but it seemed pretty good. But let me tell you a couple things that I'm picking up, and maybe why some of you are reaching out, looking for a little extra advice. Though I am going to do this as a full reading. By the way, I want to let you know this is for Pisces sun, moon, rising. You could have planets in the sign of Pisces. Many of you are intuitively guided. You just found yourself here. Something made you click on it. That's your intuition. That is your spirit guides reaching you through your intuition because I read through our spirit guides of the light. So, if you find yourself in a reading and you're like, well, I don't think I even have Pisces in my chart. That's that's why. That's why. Um, you could certainly be in love with the Pisces. Um, Platonically, romantically. Shout out to Sam's son Justin, who is February 26th. But I want to tell you a couple things as I was pre-shuffling the decks. Something with the deck that I also want to show you, but something so we have the solar eclipse happening, I believe, on the 21st. And this is going to take place in your fifth house. This governs children, romance, creativity, and fun. So you can expect like some long-term shifts in these areas. So children, romance, creativity, and girls just wanna have fun, and boys. So have some fun this month. Make sure that you are carving out a little time, if nothing else, to get outside. Um, I do feel like as the month moves along, we're very close to halfway in, but I still feel like I feel a lot of you are in the hermit's energy, in deep reflection. Maybe not deep reflection, but reflection. Um, but you know, don't be mad at that because that's exactly what this year is calling for. So as it speaks about romance and creativity, there could certainly be new avenues opening up. Something else I picked up, which I have a feeling I picked up in your regular reading, in your June monthly reading, was that I felt this like towards the end of June. Well, let's just say the second week on, where those who are single, I just have a feeling you're going to be meeting someone like in unexpected places. Now, I do get people say, but I very seldom leave the home. Well, I don't feel like you have to always leave the home, especially with social media and that today, because I get this sense that some of you, not all of you, of course, not all of you, but some of you are going to meet someone, let's just say through a spiritual avenue. I feel that. I feel that strongly. But again, like, trust your intuition. And because I do feel like where you're meeting someone is somewhere outside of your norm. Let's just put it that way. Somewhere outside of your norm. Um, so yeah, I feel like that's enough. But I do kind of feel and understand why some of you are reaching out for a little special love, and I'm happy to give it. So, as I was shuffling your cards And, I'm very, very careful with my cards. When I'm done with the reading, I make sure that I turn all the cards up in the upright. When I'm shuffling them, I'm making sure they're in the upright. Everything. I'm just making sure everything is good. And so I was pre-shuffling the light seers, which I'm going to do for you, which is going to be your main spread. But there was a card stuck in there. It's the Empress, the mother figure. And I was just going to, and what's interesting is I haven't used this deck of cards. I can't even remember the last time I used them. I mean, they're like way down there, but somehow it got connected. So, the Empress, the mother figure. I feel like for some of you, you have a mother figure, whether it be your mother, a grandmother, big sis. Um, I definitely feel that this is guidance. Um, some of you, it certainly can represent you also as the mother figure, male or female, by the way, just means loving, nurturing. You know what? Actually, this is representing everything that I was just talking about. The mother figure, children, love. Well, the Empress is loving and nurturing, but powerful and strong, creative. Wow, that's her middle name, creativity. So she really represents everything I was just talking about. Interesting. Interesting. I did not pick that up before. Um, so we're gonna leave her out. I just feel like she wants to be out. Okay. We go drinking my coffee. All right, Pisces. So we will give Mother Mary the honor of opening up your reading. We'll use the Gilded Tarot to clarify and go deeper. And for your main spread, we'll use the light seers. I do want to take this opportunity to let some of you know that I finally started that tarot course. Um, and I am doing videos and what have you. So, if someone decides to join it, a lot of information will already be there, but it will be an ongoing process. But I want to let everybody know that I started that. I feel like there was something. Oh, I changed my name. Changed my name. So, Archangel Guidance was my name. I changed it to the Rambling Psychic, which I have to tell you, I'm getting some negative feedback. But I have to tell you that I trust my intuition, and I felt it was time for, and I felt it for a while, actually for a couple years. And some think that it's disrespecting the archangels. But the truth is, I felt like all these years, am I disrespecting the archangels by taking on that name? So I thought often about changing my name. And then when I started my podcast, the name The Rambling Psychic just came to me. And I thought, I have to go with that because it makes sense. A lot of people say I ramble, which, you know, maybe I do. So that was really, it's a little twist of humor with that. But I do want to go with my podcast and I do want to ramble, but spiritually, like spiritual ramblings. So, anyways, I want to let you know that. So, you should still be able to, if you forget the name, you should still be able to type in Archangel Guidance and it'll pop up the Rambling Psychic, but just know it's me. All right, so enough talking. All right, so we'll use the major arcanas for bullet points, but let's go ahead and open up this reading. I'm going to bring the lid down. By the way, I picked some fresh roses for you. I wanted to make sure you had fresh flowers in this reading. Roses. Boy, all of a sudden I'm thinking that's a clue for some of you. Um, and I mean that as in who I feel there's like a mother figure. She may have had, what do you call that? A green thumb, could have even been, like worked with roses. So, not going to leave anything off the table. All right. Mother Mary, Pisces needs our help. All right. Oh, wow. Holy cow. Okay, you got a lot, but I am going to take them because they're all face up. I may not leave them out just because I really don't have the room, but we have enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. Whatever I am most passionate about is the direction I flow. I often feel like for some, that's answering a question right away. By the way, feel free to ask your spiritual team to send you signs of confirmation, to give you goosebumps. If this, if the reading is for you, I have to say though, for let's say 99.9%, I feel like if you're here, the reading's for you. So, whatever I am most passionate about is the direction I flow. And look at this optimism. I expect good things to happen, and they do. It's like the law of attraction. Like meets like, love meets love. I expect good things to happen. I'll be damned, they do. Family. I pray for my family and give this situation over to God for answers, support, and healing. We have giving and receiving. I balance being generous and receptive because both are equally important. Both are equally important. I feel like that's a lesson that the Empress, well, all these really, that she's learned along the way. And then last but not least, we have gratitude. Gratitude. As I notice and appreciate my blessings, I open the door to more of God's gifts. I expect good things to happen, and they do. Interesting. It's like, it's, I feel like giving and receiving is asking you just to ask yourself, are things fair? Are things balanced? It could have something to do with family, maybe even children, but, I kind of want to leave children out of it, just because they really can't defend themselves here. But anyway, so, it's just an equal balance. Some of you may be raising the family on your own. Um, but, and then we go back to enthusiasm and optimism. I mean, hello. And it feels like gratitude is the answer. But also, what you think about, you bring about. So, very positive messages from Mother Mary. Um, I feel like that's saying we only have good things to look forward to. All right, I'm going to put those away because there's so many. Let's bring out the major arcanas. I won't forget them. I just don't want to crowd our table. Okay. So for anyone who's new, first of all, welcome. Welcome to everyone. Um, I use these really as like bullet points. They give us an idea of what our reading is going to be about. This is especially good for those who maybe have a hard time watching a long reading because, I don't know that I call them long, but other people do call them long. Um, so sometimes this can help you see what that silver lining is going to be towards the end of our reading. All right, well, hello, Temperance. Hello, Divine Timing. Temperance's first message is patience. Patience, my child. I'm busy making sure these 2 cups she's holding in her hand are equally filled. Interesting. It's like she's taken the perfect recipe of you and potentially someone else. And it's like I don't know why I'm feeling this, but it's like almost like she's putting it in a blender, and I feel like it's just inseparable. Okay. Whoa. Okay. That's just way too many. Actually, I'm putting it back. You have to be careful because I put oil on my hands. And then I tried to remove as much of it as I can. I know that makes no sense. Um, but sometimes, like, I can tell when it's me. Um, like all those cards coming in, I knew that was me. We have the hangman. Interesting because it's almost like I felt like the hangman wanted to turn around. 2 energies of patience. The hangman's really a pause in the action, but the hangman's seeking wisdom. Interesting, he's swaying away from divine. Like, am I looking the wrong place for this wisdom? Let's see what he's swaying towards. Justice. Justice. Wow. Some of you are seeking wisdom on whether to cut ties, maybe with someone. It can be energetic, can certainly represent the law, like a divorce. Interesting, justice has 2 scales, the scales, and temperance has 2 cups. But the hangman swaying more towards justice. So I feel like the hangman is seeking wisdom on maybe the right time to cut certain ties. And again, it can be with someone or it can be energetically. The hangman is like the hangman put himself there. He's loosely bound. He can free himself at any time. But it's because the hangman is seeking wisdom. And it's almost like I don't take action steps until I have it. Okay. Just see if anything else wants to come out. The magician. Interesting. The magician marrying temperance. Magician, the manifester. The fool's greatest mentor along this new journey. This is what the hangman is seeking, a new journey. But it feels like the hangman understands to have this new journey, there may be something that has to go. And you can simply ask yourself, what is causing you to feel unbalanced? Is it a person? Is it my thoughts? Is it maybe the fear of a new beginning? Some people have hard times with change. I get it. But the magician, it feels like go time. The magician is a reminder that you really do possess everything you need within to be successful on whatever the hangman is thinking about next. I'm saying hangman, but of course it can be a woman. It's a representation of the energy. And, you may feel you're in this pause state. But I feel like that sort of justice, that feels like what gets everything moving. And then the magician, honestly, I feel like for some of you, the magician is you working on something maybe new, like a new avenue, a new skill. Don't forget about your creativity this month. And also remember that what I was really picking up is what you bring in this month has can last for a very long time. So I definitely want to think about that. The hangman being in the paused state may not always be a bad thing, right? Because if whatever I'm bringing into my universe at this time, um, well, again, just think of it that way. Mm. All right, let's bring in the light seers. And, I love the magician mirroring temperance, divine energy, divine timing. All right, let's give him a cut. All right, let's begin. Whoa. We have the Four of Cups. Four of Cups can talk about discontentment or boredom in one's emotional world. Four of Cups is about learning to use your spiritual discernment, relating to anything new that's coming in. But in the Four of Cups, what's coming in is a cup. So it's of an emotional nature. We'll see what else comes out with it, whether it's love or just a love of what you do, or both. Interesting because the person in the Four of Cups, she's looking right back at the Empress. It's almost like seeking motherly advice. Wow. Nine of Pentacles. Meaning of the card is successful self-employment. And then we have the Seven of Wands, which talks about standing your ground, though. You can see this person's like in their own little bubble, right? It feels like they're in this Zen state. She's looking right back at the Nine of Pentacles. Some of you may do something that helps others reach that Zen state. Maybe you haven't reached it for yourself yet. It's interesting because, you know, sometimes I worry that people think, when I'm reading tarot, because it's really coming from our guides, um, that like my life is perfect. Trust me, there's a lot of times when I know the messages are for you, but also for me. But anyways, how beautiful. The Nine of Pentacles, successful self-employment. You know, with the hangman above it. So some of you may have been asking yourself, if I begin something, can I truly be successful? Nine of Pentacles is also an independent energy. So for some of you with the hangman looking towards justice, it could be cutting ties with someone. But I feel like if you're cutting ties with someone, I feel like they had an effect, like within your creativity, within your zen. Some of you might have been busy working, creating, and maybe now it's time for something, let's just say, of an emotional nature to join the family. Eight of Pentacles. Interesting how we have three cards all looking back, but the Nine of Pentacles looking forward. Excuse me. Eight of Pentacles. Wow. That's about the willingness to go into something as the apprentice. It's really a message that many times you don't need to know everything. It's exactly why I'm starting this tarot course. Like, you don't need to know everything before you begin. In the Eight of Pentacles, I feel like you're learning as you go. And we literally see the Nine of Pentacles. So for some of you, it may just be the beginning. But others, you may be reaching that status where you're really starting to see like a financial flow. Interesting. I see the seven, 7, 8, 9. So it could be like the beginning of January where you start to see January, what the heck? July, when you really start to, let's just say, reap the benefits. The Eight of Pentacles, it can answer a question. Can I be successful? Will I be successful? And the answer is as long as you're willing to put your focus on it. The person in the Eight of Pentacles is traveling through this Zen energy to reach this success. So I don't know. It feels like your money, your creativity, or the opportunity to begin it is very good right now. And don't forget, eights are also about a new beginning coming under justice. Some of you want a new beginning. Some of you are like, I can take care of myself. Doesn't mean, like, let's say that you are considering a divorce or a separation or cutting ties with someone. But here's the thing. If that's the case, I feel like there's probably not much left. Kind of feels empty. And maybe you feel empty within it. But I don't feel like, well, okay, so I'm feeling it twofold. I'm feeling aware there could be definitely some energy that does affect your creativity, like the flowing of your creativity. Um, and you may ask yourself that, can I take care of myself financially if I make the decision to cut ties, divorce. I hate to use that word. And it's not that I recommend it. I feel like the hangman is asking that question. But I feel like what I'm really asking is when will be the perfect time? I'm not sure temperance would really answer that because that's kind of a free will decision. But you do know what you know. You know what I mean? Like I definitely feel if there's someone who, let's just say, if it's a relationship and it just feels like the love is gone, then you know what you know. And sometimes change is the hardest thing. Like that new beginning. I don't know what it's going to look like. Well, you have the wisdom. And it's interesting because now comes the Hierophant, which really is about wisdom. Card Taurus, I know I haven't been given any signs. Virgo, Libra, and Sagittarius. But that's really through the major arcanas. So the Hierophant at number 5, interesting because we have an 8, which is also the number of infinity, as above, so below. Hello, Mom. This is why everyone's looking back. And when I say looking back, I'm really looking up. So as soon as I said that, I feel like someone's mother's like, well, you don't have to look up, look right beside you. So, new beginning that does cause change. But the Hierophant, it asks you to question yourself, question your morals, you know, question who you're with, who you've been with, if there's energy that you're having a hard time letting go, you may want to ask yourself, like, does their energy and my energy align? If it doesn't align, then it doesn't align. You know, I feel like when the Hierophant shows up, it's very important, especially if this has anything to do with the cup that's coming in, that their morals be closely aligned with my morals. And because this has a potential of long term, it's important that maybe I take that time or even ask myself that question, again with justice here. When I use this sword, is it because we're just on different planes? I may, because I feel the zen that you have the potential to be in, and maybe even take others to that energy. All right, let's keep going. So we have 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Anything we're missing is the 6. All right, but we're gonna look at that. The Hangman again, under the 4 cups. Hmm. The 4 cups talks about discontentment and boredom in one's emotional life. It looks like financially, even if you're just beginning something but you trust. In the 8 of Pentacles, I often feel this person in their mind is like, I'm willing and able to learn and absorb. And it feels like, again, like Zen type energy. And then create from it. So some of you, I could certainly see like where maybe you've been focusing on your money or a business, because in the 8 of Pentacles, one day I will be the master teacher. Well, in the 9 of Pentacles, I feel like that is the master teacher. And maybe it's important, that before this cup comes in, that you feel secure Doesn't mean you have all the money in the world. Doesn't even mean that, like, I can pay my bills easily. But you're doing something that brings you satisfaction. And I do feel that you are helping others. And that feels like an important component to your soul, like something that brings your soul joy. And maybe love has been on the back burner, but it feels like there's a reason. And for those who are still connected to someone where, let's just say, there's no love, then that's where I feel like I would ask myself, okay, it feels pretty empty in this house. Are we even on the same plane anymore? Are we even on the same vibration? Do our morals align? Is this what I can see for the rest of my life? When you see an 8 or a 5, it speaks of a new beginning, and 5 really wants you to take a second and think about, 5 is change, but it wants you to think about it. Like, what areas need changed? And then I love the magician right above that. So change, and then boom, what do I want to manifest today? And I love the magician mirroring temperance, divine energy, divine timing. Justice again, right next to the hangman, under the 9 of Pentacles. Wow. Double Libra, by the way. Um, can be two people who are, unbeknownst to each other, going through similar type energy. Pisces, I feel like there is one question you want to ask yourself, though. Um, is there like ideas and epiphanies that you have? Maybe you've always had them, but for whatever reason, maybe you weren't able, maybe you're a single mom, or maybe you're a mom without a lot of help. Again, remember how we felt like that give and take from Mother Mary? Well, am I doing it all alone? If I'm doing it all alone, then maybe I should be alone. Now, that's up to you. But I also want to say this could certainly also talk about mirroring energy. Remember, temperance is mixing the beautiful waters of what I consider the soulmates, but it's in divine timing. So maybe each needed to use that sword of justice for whatever they needed to use it for. But let's keep going. King of Pentacles. It's interesting. I often say this looks a lot like my boyfriend. So we have the King of Pentacles. And then interesting, we have the King of Swords. Is one staying and one going? Let's see what follows it. Oh my God, we have the King of Cups. 3 kings in a row. Oh, oh man, what's that song? It's a Christmas song. These 3 kings, forget it. And then we have the 4 of Pentacles. 4 of Pentacles. I feel like one of these kings, maybe someone that you're cutting out of your life, but it feels like Another one of these kings is part of what Temperance, part of the soulmate energy that she is so divinely making sure that each is full. King of Cups could be you, because it is mirroring the Magician, male or female, by the way. The Empress could even say, like, if you've been in your masculine energy, let's say more in your feminine energy, it may be a call to bring out that feminine energy. I know I need that reminder every once in a while. So interesting. And interesting that we open up with a 4, and the last card here is a 4. This 4 is about stability, your foundation. I feel like it's a reminder that the stronger the stronger the foundation of something, the better chances of it lasting. But it can also take on the meaning of, it's not in reverse, but in reverse it'd be like resisting, not being open to other ideas. Some of you could talk about your home. The suit's on the bottom of the deck. Hello, marriage card. Wow. So I'm like, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Well, 9 of Swords. Oh, I skipped a card. The Page of Pentacles. Mm, cold. Excuse me. Um, so we have the marriage card on the bottom of the deck. I call it the commitment card. But yet we have justice here twice. Another 4, by the way. 444. It's interesting because I definitely feel that 4 of Wands for, I don't know, I feel like for a lot is the ending of one thing, but I feel like it comes back around again. Now, I don't mean necessarily with the same person. Of course, I'm not going to say that a marriage can't be saved, because it can be, depending on the person you're with. If it's a narcissist, I'd be like, just go, go, get out the door. I don't live here anymore. I'm trying to, what's that song? I feel like it's Donna Summers. Run out the door. There. All right, let's bring the literature out. Oh, and I have to say, your cards are acting strange tonight. And I was gonna say tonight, like I was in the midst of saying today and tonight at the same time. What is going on, Pisces? There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. Okay. Start at the beginning, but we're going to read it as a whole. Well, hello, Ace of Wands. Wow. So, guess what? It's time for the Hangman to move now. This is action oriented. This is passion ignited. Some of you, I feel like you're meeting someone and it's stirring your emotions, probably your sensuality. Like, mm, like I feel you're gonna feel, because let's not forget the Four of Cups. There's a cup coming in, and I often feel it's coming from the hand of divine. But for some of you, I feel like it's coming from a mother figure, and who better to help guide love into your life? We have, well, hello, star. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. This is the card of Aquarius. But I want you to notice how this person's completely naked. That means they're being their authentic self. No excuse for it. But this is about manifesting. And I often feel in the star's energy, I have to learn to work hand in hand with divine to bring about these dreams into my physical world. Well, I kind of love that not only is it coming over the Nine of Pentacles, your money, your creativity, some of you, your own business, but it's also right next to that Four of Cups. Oh my gosh. Hello, Knight of Cups. Hello, unexpected couple fulfillment. Probably coming in when I least expected it. Well, it is unexpected, so that makes sense. Oh, King's underneath there. I don't know why, but I'm pulling for this King. I honestly think the King of Cups is you for the majority, but we'll clarify it because it can be both. And again, feminine and masculine. But baby, here comes a couple fulfillment. It's part of what you're wishing for anyway. And it's like divine is saying, I'm going to make sure you feel it. Now you'll have an opportunity to say yay or nay, but I'm going to make sure you feel it. And I mean in every sense of the way. Feels very romantic, feels very passionate. And maybe it couldn't have really begun until I used that sort of justice first. Now, again, that sort of justice can mean a lot of different things. Remember that. It's ultimately about you finding balance. Justice, when it shows up in a reading, it's really about making you whole again. But it also needs your human action. I would not be surprised if one of these kings is going through very similar energy. Well, let's keep going. And I want to say really quick that if there's something like if you have certain goals, and this is not about love, but you have certain goals in mind, you have certain things that you would like, that you see yourself or you picture yourself in, like a type of business. Maybe it's like has a spiritual lens to it. But it does feel like for some reason it feels like it was hard maybe to be open creatively because maybe you were dealing with some shit and that kind of overtook, what I wanted to bring to the world, what I want to do in the world. This is your life. This is your book. And you decide who's going to be in it and who's not going to be in it. That's your choice. Now, I know it's not always an easy choice, but it literally is your choice, except for family. We can't choose our family, though I have to tell you, we really did choose our family. Before we came here into this lifetime, we were shown different families. And we got to choose the family. So if it's been hard with the family, then there's some soul lessons. It's something your soul wanted to learn and then grow from. Even love. I do feel like, for certain soulmates or twin flames, I do feel like there was an opportunity to plant seeds. Like we would come together around a certain time. But I often feel that if that's the case, that these soulmates, they also have other things they want to accomplish. And each is just as important, right? Self satisfaction, independence, being able to take care of oneself, even doing something that you love, even if it's hard work. That was an important component to your soul or for your soul. But so is love. So is love. Now, the Knight of Cups doesn't have to be love. It is an unexpected cup of fulfillment. It is sitting right next to the star, so whatever it is, it's going to bring real joy into your life. But because the Four of Cups is opening up this line where there is a cup coming in, and then the Ace of Wands is like divine is suggesting. Well, let me put it a different way. It feels like there'd be nothing to fear here except for fear itself. And I also love that the star and the person in it is completely naked. And then the Knight of Cups. So this is me being me, who I truly am. It doesn't mean I'm perfect, but I've learned a lot. I'm much wiser than I used to be. Some of you may even say, I don't need someone to come in and take care of me financially. Not that you wouldn't accept it, you know what I mean? But no, let me say it a different way because I feel like you're building something of real importance here, importance to your soul. So yeah, it's great to have someone come in, let's say that has money, and then you combine them together. But saying like I don't feel there could be a few, but I really don't feel there's many who are saying I need you someone to come in and take care of me financially. Because I feel like temperance would be like, but you can do that, my dear. You can do that all on your own. I also love the Ace of Wands with the Eight of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles. Epiphanies, ideas. Like this Ace of Wands is helping you in a lot of different areas of your life. But connected to your star, and the star connected to temperance. Wow. It's beautiful. I feel like why a lot of you really requested a special reading is probably a lot of you are in the hangman pose right now, seeking wisdom. The hangman seeking spiritual wisdom, but to use on this earthly plane. We have the high priestess. And, let me just tell you one more other message that I just picked up. Um, I feel like there's a few who, you're in a connection with someone, and you may have spoken the words like for the rest of our lives, but it's not turning out the way that you thought it was going to turn out. So you're questioning, is it right for me to cut these ties? You could have someone who is very needy, but not needy because they can't do something on their own. Needy as in, if you make money, their hands are out type of thing. Like needy, just needy, needy, needy. Anyway, so with Knight of Cups moving into the High Priestess, this is your intuition. This is your GPS. And I love that the Magician is right next to it because the High Priestess follows the Magician in the Tarot. The ability to manifest and then trust your intuition. Even trust these epiphanies, signs that you're receiving. Because I feel like the opportunity to really create abundance for yourself is great. And I feel like it's only going to continue to get better and better and better. Also, as it relates to whether I should use this sword or not, it's like that answer is within you. You just have to trust that. Well, hello, lovers. Wow. The lovers mirroring that Ace of Wands. Wow. So, the lovers is a card of Gemini. The meaning is ahead of a hard decision. And you'll always have the right to say yes or no. But because it's mirroring the Ace of Wands and it's coming over the Hierophant, I feel like this is only good. This is good. You know how I was feeling that passion, that chemistry, that undeniable type of energy? Well, it makes sense with the lovers. And by the way, I love this image because you can see the feminine in current energy and you see the masculine behind her where he's really still, he's not in person yet, but she's feeling, well, actually, they're feeling each other's energy. And, if this is Empress ushering this in, this is good. We have the Queen of Cups over the Hangman, and then we have the Death card over Justice. The Queen of Cups, the King of Cups are mirroring each other. Then we have the Death card. So the Death card is definitely closing of doors. It's transformation. It's a reminder that chapters are meant to end. Some chapters will last forever. No, I shouldn't say that. You create more chapters as you go along. But sometimes things are meant to end. Like it's come to, I don't know. I almost feel like there's nothing left. Death card is about closing the door. So the using of the sword of justice feels like one of the most important components here. And again, that sword, it's truth. It's your truth. And it's the elimination of anything that's not living within your truth. But when I say that, I feel like it feels like your spirituality is very open. And, let's face it, if you're here You probably understand that you're on this spiritual journey, right? That you are a spiritual being having human experiences. Accept that power. Know that you're a spiritual being, right? And you're just using this human body to have these experiences so that you can grow and evolve and become the best you. So, gotta close that door. But the death card is a promise of a new door opening. So let's follow that. Look at that. How about your destiny opening up? I've goosebumps. Closing one chapter. Moving into a destined time. Well, how beautiful that the Knight of Cups is connected to your destiny. Some of you may have been feeling that, like feeling something is about to change. And it may be pushing you more and more to close chapters that just are no longer serving you. It's a sign to the universe that you are open for new. We have the Knight of Swords over the King of Swords, and then we have the Hermit over the King of Cups. Interesting because we have Gemini and Virgo, and they both share Mercury. Excuse me, I don't know why I keep coughing today. Um, I feel like this Knight of Cups is a couple different things. First of all, let's remember that a knight is sent by the king or queen, and a knight will always complete their mission. You have two knights. You have the Knight of Cups bringing you a cup of fulfillment. You can deny it, but I'm still bringing it. Then we have the Knight of Swords, which often talks about communication coming in, heading right towards your will, coming over the King of Swords. And what I love about this King's image is this looks like someone who has reached a mountaintop. That means there was a mountain they needed to climb, and they did. And they've reached the top. I like this owl. To me, it's a symbol of wisdom. It feels like this crow or raven, whatever it might be. It's almost like a source of communication. It's interesting, but what just popped in my mind is I closed my window today because I have someone out cutting grass, but my last couple readings it's interesting. Our yard is alive with babies, baby birds, baby rabbits, baby groundhogs. I mean, they're all having babies. But anyways, we have a pair of doves that Sam swears to me that were not here before I got here. And we noticed these doves very early on, like when we moved in together, very early on. And they have not gone away. Like they're always here. I mean, they go away for the winter, but they have their babies here. Matter of fact, Sam brought me in, which is cracked, but this little egg, a robin egg, I think. He brought it into my office one day. He's like, "Do you want this?" I'm like, "I don't know if I want it." But anyways, the reason I was saying that is um I could see some of you getting like symbols, signs from what I feel is a beautiful mother or mother figure. Um, you know, and what I was telling you about the doves is they be coming to my window like it seems like for the last couple readings and just singing to us. It's a bummer I had to close my window, but I did. All right. So, anyways, you know, we have the hermit who is illuminating really the future because he's really our last card, so to speak. Well, I say that, but I think I'm going to go beneath also. But still, the hermit is illuminating the future. To me, this means someone has found spiritual wisdom. Someone has gone through the dark night of the soul and has found that light. Oftentimes, what we realize in the hermit's energy is we are the light. We can save ourselves. And oftentimes, it is up to us to save it. Like sometimes we can wait for someone to come in and save us, but then it doesn't happen. But then we find that power within ourselves to save ourselves. It speaks of spiritual wisdom that was gained through the dark night of the soul. And that must be why I feel that the majority of you, if you're not in this Zen type energy, it doesn't mean like all day, 24 hours a day, I'm Zen, but you can easily bring yourself to this energy. If you don't feel you're already there, then I feel like then you have the opportunity to move into that energy. But maybe justice has been holding that back. It's almost like going from like a narcissistic type energy, not you, someone else, into an energy of spirituality, like minded, like attracts like. So think about that. Like, really think about that, especially with the magician here, the ability to manifest, you know, and if we're trying to manifest love, unless it's someone in particular, then you should really leave it open. Like say, like what I'd like to bring into my life is someone whose morals align with mine. Someone who, knows about their spirituality. Doesn't have to mean that that's all I talk about. Someone who themselves have evolved. Why would, I feel like you have evolved. Don't like try not to allow yourself to lower your vibration to be with another. Matter of fact, I feel like claim that if somebody wants to be with you, that their vibration must match yours. Now, I don't feel like temperance would send this energy in unless these vibrations are very closely matched. All right, let's go on. So I wasn't sure if I was going to go below, but everything is telling me to. So let's go ahead and do it. What's beautiful here, Pisces, is you have the wheel, which is your destiny. You have the star, which is your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. You have financial success. And that doesn't always mean that you're rich, but who knows? You could be on your way. But I feel happy with what I'm doing, even if it's hard work. Can't help but notice how the lovers and the hermit both share Mercury. We have the Three of Pentacles, beautiful. We have the Page of Cups. And then, oh my gosh, why not? The last king in the deck, the King of Wands. So, the Three of Pentacles, it's about your individuality. It is about your creativity. And it's about other people noticing it, admiring it. Many times you don't even know it in the Three of Pentacles. And I feel like this may be relating to both love and money. Because number one, it is the celebration of your individuality. Like, be who you are. That is probably why, again, she's naked. But also, because we have temperance now mirroring that, and if this is talking about love in any way, which I know it is, then it would speak of each of these, I'm just going to call them soulmates, um, would fall in love with each other for who they are. This is a type of energy where it's not superficial, it's deep. And it would make sense that it may take time, or it may have taken time. Again, the wheel means you're moving into a destined time. Well, for some of you, some of these seeds have already been planted, and I mean that like your soul planted it before it came into this lifetime. This is just the right timing. And a lot of people will be like, why is it always like divine timing? Or, I guess the best thing I can say is it's not that, let's say the lovers, who I definitely feel are coming into your life, and you're one of them, by the way. It's not that divine holds them back out of, what's the word I want to use? I guess necessity. But she knows when the timing is right. Or another way of looking at that is the divine's looking at your life. Destined time is due to open. But there's certain elements that just are not meant to come along. Now, that again is free will. So only you can make that decision. But the thing is, I feel like when you use that sort of justice, immediately I feel you feel balanced. So, that's why I feel like justice is different things for different people. But I know for some of you, it is someone, it's a person. Now we have the King of or the King of Wands mirroring the Knight of Cups with destiny. It's probably different people for different people. Did that make sense at all? Different strokes for different folks. All right, well, let's keep going. Five of Wands. Okay. It's a lot of ego. Doesn't really fit at this moment unless it's someone who, but let me just say the Five of Wands is ego. It is fighting. It is no one wanting to back down. I often feel it's like narcissistic type energy. And I feel like there's usually only one solution to this energy, and that's me leaving it. I can either get pulled into the drama or I can separate myself. It's probably why I felt like some of you, you're in your little bubble. It doesn't feel like a bad thing. It's not like the Eight of Swords. Like, I'm not feeling like a self created prison type energy. We have the Four of Pentacles again. Some of you are changing homes. But this is only if this is what you want. Some of you are changing homes. It's interesting that the Queen of Cups follows the Lovers because the Queen of Cups, to me, is someone who, well, it's you, but I do feel like really does enjoy love, but great love, not just any old love. You know, Pisces, I do feel like you're one of those signs that when you make a commitment to someone, you truly make that commitment. But unfortunately, not everyone is the same as you. So, I gotta know when to fold 'em. I gotta know when to hold 'em. I gotta know when to walk away. I gotta know when to run. Alright, I'm gonna come down and, well, that didn't take long. We have the Six of Wands. I was gonna say I want to look at the Five of Wands. Six of Wands comes out. Well, that's victory and success. You know, it's like someone's fighting you over your goals. Like, you know, what you want to do in the world. It's like you're receiving, again, probably why some of you wanted this reading. It does feel like energy that's coming between you and your ability to really be all that you want to be. But I love that the Six of Wands just came out because this is you claiming power over that. This is you doing potentially what I feel like you've wanted to do. Six of Wands is a great energy for, you know, those who want to help others because this is the energy of people looking up to you for advice. And it's usually because of action steps that you've taken. Like, like say you were with a narcissistic type energy. How'd you get away? What'd you do? And some of you, that may be exactly, you know, I feel like our experiences can be so valuable in what we end up doing for a living. And I mean, I don't know, like, I think the first half of my life when I worked for, you know, big companies or what have you, um, you know, I was one way. But now that I'm working from home, doing tarot, which I love, it doesn't mean it's not hard work. It's very hard work, but I love it. Um, I don't know why I'm saying that, other than I feel like some of you, it is like that type of change. And without those experiences, You wouldn't, it's not that you couldn't still do what you're doing or what you want to do, but I feel like this gives you the ability to be really great at it. And it almost feels, I shouldn't use the word almost, it feels like there may also be someone who, well, it feels like coming between you and love. Almost like a phone call comes in, the partner picks it up, hangs up, and never tells you about it. Interesting. Okay. I want to come right up and look at that Knight of Cups. I'm not going to over clarify because I feel like it's pretty clear. But, and I just love this first line. Wow. Even the second line. I mean, I love it. Right? The Ace of Wands, passion ignited, action oriented, the star, your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. And one of them, well, more than one of them, manifesting, it's time, it's destined. You know, whoever or whatever is within this night's energy, it's part of your destiny. Your intuition knows this. Your higher self knows this. And it moves into the lovers. And yes, it is ahead of a hard decision, but I'll be damned if you won't be able to feel the energy. It's almost like feeling it before it even comes in. And how do you know if this is for you? Well, I feel like that sword is such a big clue. Again, it doesn't have to mean, disconnecting from a person. It can be your own thoughts. Hello, sun. Oh my gosh. So there is nothing to fear here. The sun is your illuminator. The sun is that playful energy that we talked about in the very beginning of your reading. Having fun. Your creativity while it's showing everywhere. Love on the table. But the sun to me, first of all, is card. It's the ruler of Leo. Um, but to me, it's the light. So this Knight of Cups is coming in the light. There's nothing to fear here. Like this feels like this is energy where there's nothing to hide. And I wouldn't be surprised if two are going through very similar energies, but you just may not know it. So, I personally would say yes to this cup. All right. Um, I don't know. Let's go over and let's look at the Ace of Wands. Hello, Ace of Swords. And then the Strength card. Interesting, we have two Leos just came out. Some of you must be connected with the Leo, or will be connected with the Leo. But the Strength card is really about you. This is the inner you, that inner work. Um, it's taming the beast within us. And it's really a sense of courage. And I feel like once you gain this courage, you never lose it. So now we have the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands. Communication. Okay. Um, I don't know. Like, I feel like I don't even want to clarify the kings because I just feel like they're different people for different people. So I guess let's go over to the Lovers and then we'll let it be. Hello, Fool. Hello, New Beginning. You know, it's interesting because I literally just got done doing a short video talking about the Fool for that new tarot course I'm offering. Literally just got done. What else I love is the Fool. We're looking at the Lovers, so it is about a new beginning. It is about taking a leap of faith. But your intuition is right here with the Magician. So the Fool's two greatest mentors, actually three, are right here. This is about a new beginning, but you're going to know it. You're going to feel it. You just have to trust that. Or not. It's up to you. You know, the Fool's about taking that leap of faith. The Fool definitely puts the past in the past through the Death card, right? Closing of the chapter. Because the Fool knows there's new chapters, there's new adventures. And this is a new adventure. But look at the beautiful energy you have. So I feel like some of you, the reason why you asked for this reading is probably many of you are in that hangman mode. So this feels like your roadmap. But also knowing that you're moving into a destined time. That means certain seeds that were planted before you came into this lifetime are now coming to fruition. But yes, you can still say yes or no. All right. I think what I'm going to do is to bring out the clarifying love situations and then let it be because I feel like it's so clear. And granted, it's clear to me, you know, some of you, it might be clear. You might be a little uncertain. You know, don't be afraid to watch a video twice. And here's why I say that. I say this in my personal readings all the time. I feel like the first time you watch a video, you're kind of using your human ears, your human mind, and you kind of let it sink in. But then something, you know, if you feel called to watch it again, then watch it again because I feel like then you listen to it with your spiritual ears and you hear the messages in a different way. I know that's the case. Um, I've had years and years of confirmation, but especially through my personal readings. But when I do these readings, they feel personal for you. Like a card just flipped around, and it did. See if anything else wants to come out. Okay. All right. So we have celestial grace. In special moments, feel the blessed touch of the divine guiding your path. What a message in divine timing. In special moments, feel the blessed touch of the divine guiding your path. Frozen heart. Empathy and warmth melts the barriers. Oh my gosh, for true connections. Empathy and warmth melts the barriers for true connections. I feel like that's like loving yourself. And last but not least, holy cow, divine union. Use the wings of empathy to bring love and harmony. Divine union. I mean, you can't make it up. And empathy. And then the Empress, who doesn't even belong with these decks, wanted to come out. Well, she is empathetic. She is compassionate. She is loving. She is nurturing. She is powerful. She is strong. She is creative. She is the mother. And how beautiful. Just how beautiful. And I'm going to let this be. I'm going to let it be. Now, I know I'm saying it's beautiful, but I understand, like, if you're in certain energy, but this is showing you, like, we have to realize that certain chapters are meant to end. And, we can spend years and years and years trying not to make them end. And it's not about judgment, but when something is over, just know that it's over. Like, don't think, oh, my life is over. Because this Knight of Cups, it's unexpected. Unexpected. Beautiful. I love you guys. I thank you. I hope this helps bring you comfort, clarity, and wishes. I hope these wishes become your reality. I love you. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye bye.